Hey guys, welcome back into the Rec Room. I am, of course, your host, Tony Giles TG, and what a weekend I had last weekend. As I mentioned on previous episodes, and if you follow me on social media at In His Name UK, that's where you can find my record label, the label that I released my strange ambient black metal dungeon synth music through. You'll know that I was at the Albion Dungeon Fest this past weekend in London, England. Now, I will say this, I am originally from London. However, I no longer live in London, and praise be to that. Not that there is anything wrong with London, it is just no longer the place for me. So going back for an entire weekend was, in itself, an eye-opening experience, one that I never need to scratch the itch of, at least for another year. But I was at the Albion Dungeon Fest. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The first event of its kind, I really think. It was a 2-day festival of dungeon synth, fantasy synthesizer music, and it was just, if you have any kind of interest, leaning, fandom towards that kind of music, this was the place to be. There was no chance that you would not have heard something over the 2 days that would have just made you stand up and go, I freaking love this, because I know for a fact I heard so many things, met so many people. I just had a wonderful time. I spent a lot of my time in the merch area. I was working merch for In His Name, Putrid Marsh, Gate Master as well. It was just such a wonderful, wonderful event. I met so many cool people. There was like no hassle, no aggro, no... I don't even think a cross word was probably uttered the entire weekend long. It was absolutely fantastic. Everybody was there for the exact same reason, all for the love of dungeon synth, electronic fantasy music. So it was just wonderful. And my hat is just, it's not even tipped, it's thrown to the promoter, Zach. Honestly, I don't know how it was pulled off, how it was put together, but it was phenomenal. And along with all of the good stuff that happens at a festival, as I mentioned, I was in the merch area, so I did get me some pickups, and I might have picked up a few things here and there. I might have actually picked up more than a few things. But before the festival even started, I reached out to the distro and label in the UK, Cult Never Dies. Now, Cult's been around for years now. Dale, the man that runs Cult, he wrote, and has written several books actually, but he wrote the absolute quintessential book on black metal. If you have any passing interest in the history of and want to know more, yeah, that is the one book. That there are many books on black metal, but that is the one. Just get that one. I reached out to Cult Never Dies because they sell some fantastic literature, as well as records and CDs and tapes and pins and badges and this, that, and the other. And I reached out to them because, I need to find it here, they had a book on sale maybe a month or two ago, and I saw it and was like, oh, I need to get a copy of that, but you know, bird flew past and I got distracted. And when I went back, it was sold out, and I was kind of brokenhearted about that. But I reached out just on the off chance, because it's always worth, it's an Instagram message. What's the worst that can happen? I reached out and I said, I don't suppose you still have a spare copy of From Hades to Valhalla, Bathory, the epic story. And they messaged me back a day later and like, you know what? We've just found a copy. They had one copy left. Now, I am a big Bathory fan. I read everything I can about Bathory, but I've never actually read a dedicated book. This I believe was originally written in the Spanish language. Jose Luis Canon Baron, he wrote this massive tome over a long period of time about the wonderful Bathory. And what I have here, this is the English edition. And so far, I haven't been able to read the whole thing. I've only had it a week, but so far it is just the information in here. I'm learning new things. There are so many fantastic pictures, and it talks about so many. It goes into so much detail about so many things that, you know, I don't know that I was privy to before. I absolutely love this. I love books on bands, especially bands that, you know, you might not see books written about by mainstream media, you know, that kind of a thing. So this for me, I got this and I was so happy. So happy. So thank you to the guys at Cult Never Dies for actually locating and selling it to me as well. That was really cool. I also picked up some records from Cult Never Die. I got the E4 Son of the Shades. Is it E4? I4? I don't actually know. I needed that one though, so I grabbed that one. And I also grabbed, what else did I grab from them? I grabbed something else, but I have filed it away and I can't remember what it was now. It was good. It was good. I remember that, but I did grab something else from them. But while I was there was lots of merch available for sale and I kind of distracted myself long enough to not spend a buttload of money, but I did spend some money. So I picked up the Depressive Silence with a headliner on the first night. And Depressive Silence, if you've had a passing interest or love of Dungeon Synth for a while, you'll know who Depressive Silence are, and them headlining was a big deal. And so I did pick up some Depressive Silence merchandise because I was missing some things. And also it was just like, it was right in front of me. So I picked up the double album. This is a split. It's Mightiest and Depressive Silence, and I don't think this will come up on camera, but this is such, maybe you can see a bit of it. So we've got some foil inlay there. This is like a textured sleeve, almost like a matte painting. It is absolutely beautiful. Look at the thickness of that spine. It is a beautiful package. It genuinely is. I have read some notes online though that there is something off with the mastering or something on the Depressive Silence side. I haven't actually given this a listen yet, so I don't know, but packaging wise, I mean, Jiminy Cricket, this is absolutely fantastic. It's the recreation of the Shadowlands and the Depressive Silence records, and I will take them out. So this is, it's black vinyl. So there you go, there's the Mightiest. Very cool. It does come with polyline sleeves, which you know I'm a fan of. And there is an insert as well. What do we got here? This is, oh, the original cassette J-cards, which is very cool. Very cool to see that stuff. Mightiest, Depressive Silence. Oh, man, that's so cool. I bet to try and find an original version of that is very expensive. If you can find one, and honestly, there's probably been booted so many times, how would you know it was the real deal? And there you go, Depressive Silence. So let's get that round the right way. And there you go. So two big thick slaps of black wax, and this was not expensive. I want to say for a double LP, this was like 20 something pound. It really was not expensive, which was very nice to see as well. I also pick up the Depressive Silence Darkened Empires record as well, and this, I think I now have a complete Depressive Silence collection. I believe so. The Darkened Empires, and this is released through, is it Satanic Cult? Satanic something or other. Satanic Empire maybe? But there you go, this one comes on clear vinyl. Very nice indeed. Now, Depressive Silence headlined the first night. The second night was headlined by Mortis. Now, I don't know that I've spoken too much about Mortis on this channel before, but I'm a big fan of Mortis. Love everything actually, not just the Dungeon Synth stuff, but I have a pretty extensive Mortis collection as it is, so I didn't actually pick up any new stuff, but the last day was Mortis at the top and then the incredible Gothmog just below Mortis. And now Gothmog, if you know, you know, I managed to grab myself a Gothmog shirt. Now this is actually the second Gothmog shirt I own, however, cannot speak to the legitimacy of the first one. So when I saw this, I had to get it. I love Gothmog, the album. It is Gothmog made up of members of Depressive Silence. just wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. And while I'm on the subject of t-shirts, I never show t-shirts because I never really go to venues or events to get them. But, you know, this was a contained space, so I had to do it. So I picked up the Gothmog shirt. I did get myself the ambient, well, actually, this was given to me, but it's the ambient, or I keep saying ambient. It's the Albion Dungeon Fest event shirt, you know, the kind of you were there shirt. So this is fantastic, has a list of all the artists on the back. Mortis, Depressive Silence, Questmaster, Gothmog, Malfet, Putrid Marsh, Diplodocus, just so many other, Cave Walker, who are absolutely fantastic, Gatemaster, 15-16 February 2025. So yeah, Forbidden Keep, in association with Cult Never Dies, Phantom Lore, Forsaken Relics, Dungeons Deep, and Fogged Entity. Just absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I am so glad I was there. I would have been very disappointed if I hadn't have been there. Out of Season, who are like the OG of all Dungeon Synth labels. I've been buying records from Out of Season since I've been a fan of Dungeon Synth. And I actually got to meet Kyle for the first time, which was so, so cool. And I managed to grab myself one of these badass Out of Season shirts. Absolutely love this logo, love this shirt, love the label. It was so nice to finally meet Kyle in person. New England Dungeon Synth Militia. It was so, so nice to see him. He was there with Questmaster, who were fantastic. And now one of the surprises for me of the show, not that I wasn't a fan of the material, because sometimes you listen to this stuff and think, how's this going to translate to a live setting? One of the acts that completely blew me away, acts or artist, was Atlantean Sword. I really, really like Atlantean Sword. I became a fan of Atlantean Sword through releases from Fogged Entity, who I've spoken about numerous times on this channel. He played, and it was, there's lots of the, if you imagine the Conan soundtrack, so Basil Polidoris' scores for Conan, it's like that, but even more epic, more fantasy. And I went up and saw him, and I completely lost myself just watching and staring, and was completely taken away. I was completely in the moment, and it was like the coolest thing ever. And so I had to get an Atlantean Sword long sleeve, and I got this from the man himself, so a big, big thank you. It was so nice. I actually spent some time with Atlantean Sword. The days of high adventure, I spent some time with him. I was able to just chat, have a beer, just, you know, hang out. And even though I have material from Fogged Entity, I also have the Atlantean Sword CD, All Is Dust. Now this will go in the car, which, if any of you have seen on previous episodes, I don't update the CDs in my car very often. So this will go in there, and this will stay in there for many, many, many months, possibly years. But I am so pleased to have this. And I cannot forget, because Fogged Entity, one of a label I've spoken about several times on this channel, they were there, and they had some homemade or home dubbed cassettes, and I'm all about it. I am so about the DIY aesthetic of Dungeon Synth, like the underground music. And there were 3 cassettes made available. Cave Walker. Now these are kind of like introductions to, not best ofs, but introductions to the artist. So if you enjoyed the artist, you could go and grab a cassette and then maybe explore and listen to some more. Cave Walker. Absolutely love Cave Walker. I need more Cave Walker in my life. This is like ambient, Dungeon Synth, spooky. I love Cave Walker. I love Cave Walker. I've actually spoken to Cave Walker, actually in the last couple of days, and told him how much I loved him. I think I might have scared him off. There was also an Atlantean Sword compilation, Albion Fest London 2025 compilation. And then on top of that, there was a Fogged Entity cassette. And this is kind of again, an introduction to the label, not a best of, but an intro to the label for those that may not be super familiar. You've gone to the event, you're not super familiar with Fogged Entity, you could go and grab these. And these were cheap as well. I think these were around £10, something like that. And they come in cool little cases, and they all have fold out sleeves. I'll show you this one. So that one, I mean, I love this. I absolutely love this stuff. Love having this material. This is, to me, just, as much as I do enjoy a nice deluxe package, who doesn't? I just, there's something about the DIY-ness of this all. But it was such an amazing weekend. Unfortunately, I did catch something while I was there, so I was down for a few days when I got home. Finally back up and running now, but I just had the most amazing time. Everyone I've spoken to that was at the event, artists and general public, everybody had such an amazing time. I am hoping, fingers crossed, there will be some kind of teaser and announcement about Dungeon Fest 2, because you can't not. You have to do another one. It was so good. So good. I may not have seen sunlight properly for 2 days. I may have been very close to a men's bathroom, but I would gladly do it all again in a heartbeat. It was an incredible event. And if you weren't there, I feel bad for you, but let this be a lesson. If there is a Dungeon Fest 2, don't delay. Grab your tickets. Honestly, you will want to be there. That's it for this episode. I feel like it's been a mammoth episode, probably one of the longest ones we've done in a while now, but are you a fan of all this stuff? Reach out, let me know. If you'd like some recommendations, please hit me up in the comments. I'm always happy to pass on the info, but that is it for now. Thank you, and as always, stay gold and spin those blackest circles.